What's going on, guys? Kevin the Tech Ninja here, and today we're taking a final look at the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Let's talk about the updates and also where Samsung will pick up with the Note 20 Plus. Is there gonna be Note 20 Plus Ultra? I don't know, but let's talk about the Note 10 Plus and see what's left. The Galaxy Note 10 Plus was released in August of last year. The build, design, and displays were all things that were great, and obviously you can expect that with a Samsung flagship phone. You know, the Note 10 Plus didn't do any things that other phones couldn't do. The only special thing that it really has going for it is the S Pen. Now, even today, almost a year later, the Note 10 Plus in the hand feels like a high-end flagship phone. You know, it feels like a phone, if it came out today, we'll still be marveling at how great it looks and how it feels in the hand. You know, I still think this design is better than the S20 Ultra, and it's on par than the S20 Plus since they're pretty similar. The Note 10 Plus is a large phone, but most phones these days are pretty large. It is easy to hold in the hand. Now, this phone definitely is a two-handed phone, and it shows in your front pocket, just like most phones these days. The phone is slippery glass that gets smudged up, but I do want to give Samsung kudos for this color. It's this color shifting effect, and I think it looks super duper cool. You know, the OnePlus 8 Pro does this as well, and I just like how this looks. It's just a shame that it gets so many smudges and it just takes away from some of the appeal to it. Now, rumor has it that the Note 20 Plus, or the Note 20, whatever they're gonna call it, is gonna have the same effect, but it's going to be matte, which shouldn't get so many smudges. You know, it'd be kind of interesting to see how that is. But of course, you're gonna have to get a case with this phone. It's made of glass. If you break it, it's going to drop instantly. Or if you want to switch things up a little bit, you can talk to my sponsor, Trademore. You know the deal, gives better grip, and it's just super cool looking if you do want to switch up how the phone looks. For less than $20, you can refresh your device and make it easier to hold. Hit the links down below to debrand your device. The Note's main feature is the S Pen, which nothing can replace it on mobile. There's so many cool functions like screen off memo, annotations, and 8R doodles. Now, the one feature I love is being able to use the S Pen to control the camera. It came in handy a few times for self-portraits, family portraits, or recording my very bad golf swing. But honestly, besides the camera features, I don't know many who uses these features outside of showing it off during the honeymoon phase. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think Samsung executed this very well. I just don't think it's a feature that I must have on my phone. Now, of course, there are people out there that need this feature. You know, there's people who are artists that will just do a quick sketch on their phone really quick before taking it to a larger medium. Contractors may want to draw out a plan or anything like that. I think for those people, this is invaluable. You don't have to carry multiple devices, and everything is right there in one phone. For me, once again, in my everyday life, if I don't have an S Pen, I function just well. If I have an S Pen, I will use it, but I don't miss it when it's gone. Performance is still great, as expected. I mean, this year's phone is gonna have a spec boost. You know, you're gonna have a newer Snapdragon chip, maybe more RAM, maybe not, I don't know. But as of right now, this phone's performance is as expected. It's on par with the S20. So anything you wanna do, gaming, video editing software, social media, anything you want to do on your phone, you can do just fine on the Note, and you're not losing any type of functionality or any type of speed. So let's take a break here and talk about the sponsor for this video. If you're like me, you love tech, sometimes you end up with just too much of it, things you're not using anymore, so why not trade it in and make some money? It's very easy with Trademore. And the best thing about it to me is that you don't have to wait until it's sold. You get an offer instantly. Let me show you how it works. Go to Trademore.com, select sell a device. Now pick on your phone. Let's do an iPhone 11. Fill out the rest of the information and bam, you have an offer. Now if you want to buy a phone, it's the same thing. Select what phone you want to buy and buy it. Each device goes through an inspection, so you have nothing to worry about. Hit my link down below to head over to Trademore.com and start making some money or find your perfect device. And once again, a big thanks to Trademore for sponsoring this portion of the video. And now, back to the phones. Now, over the course of the year, this phone has seen significant updates, and I would say one update is the camera. I wouldn't say the camera has gotten better over time, but they added a couple new features like the single take found on the S20. But besides some of the camera software features, I wouldn't say the image quality has gotten better, but it's still a decent camera. Now, the reason I use the term decent and not great camera, because it does have issues in certain scenarios. Like for example, on the 4th, I wanted to take some pictures outside. Yeah, these were some pretty hard shots to grab, but this phone actually underperformed compared to my wife's Pixel 3 and also my iPhone 11. It was struggling pulling focus, and the shutter speed was just so slow that any sort of slight movement will cause the photo to become completely blurry and unusable. Now, I will say outside with this camera, when it's a bright sunny day, I love Samsung's image. I love their quality, I love their color, and even the ultra wide angle lens grabs some amazing detail, and it just looks really nice. I wouldn't say it's the most color accurate photo, and I wouldn't say it's the sharpest, but at the end of the day, when you're putting these for social media or you're putting it as a wallpaper on your phone, these look really good. I love Samsung's color profile, especially when you're outside. Now, Samsung's biggest thing right now that has going for it for its camera has to be video. Video. I think video is great on a Samsung device. The audio quality is really good, and just the picture is stunning. And I think it's on par with the iPhone 11, which deserves high praise. I can see the Note 20 adding that extra access for the stabilization as you see on the S20, which will make the camera even better for video. But overall, if I had to give it like a 1 through 10 score, I would say the camera is an 8. I would like to see that go up to a 9 or 9.5 if possible. And one way they can do that, besides getting low light photography better, would be adding in the zoom lenses that we see from the S20. So the Note 10 Plus's camera does have a zoom lens, but you're not getting that 10x, 30x, 100x zoom that you're seeing on the S20. Although the S20 lineup 100x zoom doesn't look great by any means, that 10x and 30x zoom is fantastic. I would love to see the 10x or the 30x zoom available on the Note 20. But what you have here at a 2x zoom, I still think is pretty good, but it's time to move it up, as the S20 proved that you can go up to 30x and still look very good. Overall, I think Samsung still has a ways to go from being the best overall camera on mobile, and sadly the gap is starting to widen a bit. The way I look at it, for Samsung, the Note has always been a niche type of device. Not every single person needs a Note phone, and the people I know that's had a Note phone, usually after a month or so, they stopped using the S Pen. The S Pen is not a horrible invention by any means, it's just not practical for so many people, as finger input works just as well. You know, when I started using it originally, I was like, okay, I'm going to start signing contracts and things that I do often, gonna use my S Pen for that. But a lot of apps that require finger input, a lot of times you can just tap there and it puts it in there as well. So it kind of negated the fact that I had an S Pen in the first place. Once again, don't hate the S Pen, just not for me. I will say something I didn't notice from before is that the curved glass on the back really just sits in your hand a lot better than it does on the S20. Although this phone does look like an S20, it feels like an S20, it's just a little bit different. A lot of people say the Note phone is just an S20 with an S Pen shoved up its bezel, but I really don't think so. I do think there is something special about a Note phone, and people who can maximize its usage are proving that every single day. So the big question is, in 2020, is the Note 10 Plus worth it? Right now, you can find a Note 10 Plus 256 gigabytes for $1,079, which is $200 off retail. And you know, I still think that is a great deal for someone who wants to use an S Pen, who has a desire to use the S Pen, or if you want to save even more dough, there are so many better options like the S20 Plus or even the OnePlus 8 Pro. But I'd say if you want the latest and greatest, and if you wait till next month, you have a new Note phone, which will most likely have a high refresh rate, a new camera with zoom features like we've seen on the S20 lineup, some new colors, and quite possibly a somewhat body refresh and bigger battery. For me, I think that's enough to justify an upgrade, as I'm a huge fan of high refresh rate and a 30x zoom. Now, once again, that's just me. You have to figure out your use case if it's worth upgrading or not. Anyways, guys, those were my thoughts, my opinions of this phone. And as always, sound off down below what you think. Is it worth picking it up now, or should you wait for the Note 20? Kevin the Tech Ninja here. Have a great day. Talk to you guys later. Peace.